Okay, I think we are loading. I think we're live. Hey guys, let me know if you can hear me okay. This is my first time going live and I have it set up on my laptop, so I know the quality isn't quite the 1080p, but I wanted to make sure I could see all the comments and everything. So perfect. Oh, and hello to everybody. James, my first Patreon ever. Special shout out to you. Trevor Hassel, thank you guys for being here. Okay, I am excited, guys. We have a little bit better lighting. Okay, so I'm going to turn up some lighting here. Get a bit brighter. We have a bunch of questions that some people sent in ahead of time that I'm going to go through. Definitely going to be answering some questions from you guys in the comments here too, and just have a good time hanging out. I do have my red wine ready to go. And yes, Bear is here too. Couldn't have a live stream without Bear in the corner. He does move. I swear he does move. Okay. Starting off, I think the biggest question I get from this Q&A platform too, but as well on just my regular videos, is my personal background, as well as all the certificates behind me there too. So I did a video on this, but it was like week 2 or 3 after I was on YouTube. So it's a pretty old video. Not many people see it. So we'll kind of go through my background in the financial world. I look way better when I'm live streaming. Thank you guys. So basically, for those who don't know, I am actually Canadian and am now living down here in the US in the Midwest. So back in Canada, I went to school for business administration. And I actually majored in marketing with that. That went a very different way with my career. When I was done school, I realized I was pretty good with people. I had served all through college, so enjoyed working with the public. And I was also pretty good with numbers. And I had known several people who had good careers in the banking world and had recommended it to me. So I jumped into the banking industry, starting off as a banking advisor for a few months while I got my mutual fund registration so that I could sell mutual funds up in Canada. And that is one of the certificates back there. From that, I was promoted to a financial advisor, and I did that role. By the way, this is one of the larger banks in Canada, so a pretty big bank there, and was a financial advisor for them for about 4 years. So as a financial advisor, basically dealing with everything to do with personal banking. So that was from the basics of just opening new accounts and credit cards, but also home equity, different types of lending, consolidations, and also on the investment side, retirement planning, just general investments as well. And like I said, being mutual fund licensed. And after 4 years doing that, I then was able to move over to the private banking wealth management side of the bank, working there as an associate. So that was really neat because that is higher net worth clients, obviously. So there was a minimum investable assets of $1 million or net worth of $3 million to be a part of our group. So it was actually really amazing exposure to people that had incredible stories of entrepreneurship and just really successful businesses. So I got to work with them for 4 years. And at the end, I was a manager of credit structures there. So I did move a bit away from the investment deals in private banking and more focused on high net worth credit structured deals. And then I moved to the US. And so none of my certificates are valid anymore. Oh, I forgot to mention, some of the other certificates up there are certificates in personal financial services advice, I think is the lengthy name, and a couple different certificates in financial planning as well. So that's the wall collection up there. Okay, I've been chatting a lot there, so I just want to see some of the comments I'm missing. Somebody brought bacon. That's great. Daniel's out there, loving it. Which part of Canada? Oh, so I was born on the East Coast in beautiful Nova Scotia, but then I spent most of my life growing up in central Alberta, and my career was mostly in Calgary, which is just outside of the beautiful Rocky Mountains. If you haven't been, I would highly suggest it. That's just all the knowledge. Yeah. So came down here, and of course, moving down. Oh, and hello to John too. Thanks for coming in. Yeah, moving down here to the States, obviously when I first came down, I couldn't work right away as everything was settled, which is why I kind of ended up getting into the YouTube space, and it has now kept me busy and allows me to still talk about finance while not being, licensed or certified down here in the States. So that's why I always say in my disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor anymore. Still learning some of the different nuances of, investments and different rules down here in the States versus Canada. There's a lot of similarities, but there's also a lot of differences just in the names of things and everything as well. Do I play hockey? No, I watched hockey though a lot. Still do. Oh, we have someone from Edmonton, Canada too. That's where my father's from. So go Oilers. Dog's name is Bear. He's a really sleepy boy. He just loves to nap all the time. Bear. Oh, his eyes barely open there, but okay, oh my goodness. And yes, I'm sorry about the video quality. I know that I'm doing this on my laptop instead of my phone, which I normally film on, just because I want to be able to see the comments. If I do keep doing those, I promise I will invest in like a better webcam or something, because I know that this isn't fantastic looking, but appreciate you guys sticking with me here. I'm an Oilers fan. I believe in Bigfoot. I don't have much proof on Bigfoot, but okay. So one of the great questions I love was from Jim, who, like I said in my earlier shout out, was my very first Patreon and has been an amazing supporter. And that was just talking about kind of the basics that I look for if I'm doing a quick glance over on a stock. So there's a lot of different metrics, and there's a lot that you can get very technical with as well. And it's good to look at those numbers as far as earnings per share and price earnings ratios, the beta if you're looking at volatility. But outside of that, I think it's just really getting to know the company and how they run their business. So the few things I kind of jotted down, first of all, is really basic. How does the company make money? So just getting to know the company, what their business is, what product they're selling. And if they have a competitive advantage in their space, what sets them apart from other people doing this? Taking a look at their management team, if it's been pretty steady, if it's been a pretty solid team for a long time, what kind of experience do they have in there? And just what could go wrong? What events could really topple the company? And of course, excuse me, talking too much, wine break. Looking at long-term investments, it's always helpful as well to look at the historics too, just to see how it's handled certain times. So it's definitely a lot further back, but I used to look at this all the time at the bank looking at investments. 2008 was a great example. When things crash, how did this stock react? Of course, stocks went down. How long did it take to come back up? It's a great way to just see how it's going to move through troubling times in the future. Because as a long-term investor, we know that stocks are going to go down at some point. Eventually, there will be recovery, right? So, lots of Hyliion talk. I know, guys. It has been a heck of a week for Hyliion. And the biggest thing is just there hasn't been news, right? And we're just lacking some of that hype and excitement. So some people that were definitely more short term definitely are kind of jumping out and everything. Oh, we have Dawn from the Dawn Fran Show too. Hello. But we're just waiting for more exciting news. And like we said in our video, Thomas Healy is not one to jump to Twitter and just pump and hype and everything. And unfortunately, that's a little bit of what is missing right now. But I think the important thing is the fundamentals of the company. If you're looking out over the next 1 to 2 to 3 years, I think we're going to see a really solid business that isn't just based on hype. That's my personal feeling on the stock. I know a lot of people, I think, were trying to run up some of that excitement to the merger. And when we didn't see it pop up again after that, people were just out, right? So we will see what happens there. Okay, oh my goodness, guys, lots of comments. It's awesome. On the juicy Workhorse, I am a big Workhorse fan. I think they have a lot of great potential. I think everyone was really set on there being an announcement by September. They had this 90-day thing set in their head. They had the fiscal year, they've had the election, a lot of different reasons, but the only official thing we've heard from USPS is by the end of the year. So just set your expectations accordingly, be patient, wait, see what happens there. And again, no real Workhorse news. I'm seeing a lot of, potential leaks and different things like this. Nothing solid based on there personally. Send an email to Hyliion. Perfect. Yeah, and actually Hyliion, I saw on their website, they are hiring for a VP of marketing. So maybe we'll start seeing some better press coming out there as well. Okay, Trader. Hey guys, thank you. Think Money. We've got a lot of our great supporters and other YouTube friends in here. Thank you guys for being here. Okay, let me think what other questions we had going on in our other ones. Oh my goodness, it's fast reading to keep up with all these comments. My number one holding. Okay, so I guess this kind of gives away the big bank that I worked for in Canada. I am heavily overweighted in Royal Bank stock. Working for them for 8 years, they had an amazing employee savings and kind of share program there. So I definitely have a big portion in Royal Bank. I am a believer in traditional bank stocks. However, I will disclaim my knowledge and experience comes from Canadian banks. So when we talk about American bank stocks, I know there are some differences. Canadian, we have our 4 or 5 big banks that are all federally regulated. But so I know there's a few differences there, but I love my Canadian bank stocks. They've been very well to me. Solid dividends. You guys know I love dividends there. What made me interested in the financial space? Yes, most content creators are male. So when looking into YouTube, I was sitting down here with all of this banking and finance knowledge in my head, but no certifications or the ability to work down here in the States yet. So I basically kind of was suggested that this could be a good thing. And when you talk about starting a YouTube channel, they say kind of find your niche. And so I won't lie, I thought it was definitely a step up for me being a female in a very male-dominated niche, because it's going to make you stand out from the rest of the competition there. Most people have been pretty receptive to it and supportive of it, so it's worked out pretty well there. Okay, what else do we have here? Canadian A, yes. Oh, capitals there. What type of trader? I'm definitely a long-term stock holder, and I love dividends. I think you guys probably have gathered that just from my dividend series. I think one great thing to consider, and actually this kind of makes me think of this, is when we're looking at your overall portfolio, the portion of stocks that you have in some of these speculative or growth stocks versus what you have in blue chip and real value companies and long-term dividend ones. Basically, on YouTube, we talk about a lot of exciting spec stocks and growth stocks. They have the opportunity for really fast money and big jumps and everything. I think it's really important that that's only a small percentage of your overall portfolio, though. And that's why I often try to touch on more dividend companies or maybe some big blue chip companies that are just down right now after the pandemic and stuff. And those aren't as exciting. I understand that, but it is really important to have those in your portfolio as well. Poutine is legit. Yes, poutine is legit. That is our Canadian French fries, cheese curds, and gravy. Amazing. Okay, how do you eat the poutine? Political views? No. I don't have political views. I will not talk about it on the internet. Sorry. Option trading, I don't do much option trading. I understand the gist of it and everything. For me, it's just not something I get into. Like I said, I have more of that long-term outlook. So it's not something I dabble in or I'm comfortable giving a lot of advice on. Wanting to start an account for investing. Robinhood is the main one that I use down here in the States. We also do Webull. M1 Finance is good, but it has the pie where you have to rebalance. So for active trading, I wouldn't suggest it. I think Robinhood is probably your best. What other YouTube advisors do you like? Yeah, definitely. There's so many great ones on here. JJ Buckner was one that actually definitely inspired me to get on here and start doing it. Sam from My Financial Friend, love his channel. He's been a great supporter of all this. Of course, we have Jack Spencer, our workhorse hype man there. Love all of his videos. Oh my goodness, how many others? I'm trying to think. We have John on Borrowed Time. I love John because he will give you the honest truth on whatever stock you're looking at. He will not hype anything. Cake Trader has been growing, just amazing. Trevor Hassel, he has a fantastic channel, guys. His editing and videos is spectacular, and I think he's going to blow up here really soon. So those are some of my definite favorites right now. ARK funds, yes. Love ARK funds. Kathy Wood, I think, just has an amazing approach, her and her team, and how they're looking for that disruptive technology and everything. Anytime you see her kind of picking up a new stock, it's exciting because you're like, what are they seeing here that maybe isn't just available at first glance? I feel like they really get into the industries and get to know what's going on there. So I love following along kind of what they are looking at. Why the move to the States? Yes, I fell in love with an American man, guys, and he brought me down here. Had a good work opportunity for him. So we relocated down here to the Midwest. One of the questions I had from the post that I made ahead of this was what my biggest loss on a stock was. And I had to think about this for 1 second, and then it very quickly came to me because it was a big learning curve. It was a pipeline company, and I was 19, 20 or so, like just kind of getting into investing. And I had a friend who worked in the industry, and they swore that they knew someone else that worked at this pipeline company overseas, and it wasn't a very expensive stock at the time. And this new contract was going to be coming in, and this stock was going to absolutely blow up. They were putting all of their money into this, basically. So me just being curious, put a couple $100s in. This stock was maybe 50, 60 cents at the time. It is now basically worth a penny, and it still sits on my Canadian trading site there because at its current value, the commissions to get rid of it is more than it's actually worth. So it is a big red reminder to me to not just jump into a stock because somebody else swears it's going to do great things, but actually do a little due diligence yourself. What are your top 5, 10 stocks? Oh, so I did have a question as far as like favorite dividend stocks and just if I had a lump sum of money, what I would invest in. And I think definitely a lot of those FANG stocks, which I know isn't super original, but those guys are just really solid investments, and they're not the cheapest, but year over year, those are going to continue to chug along. As far as dividend stocks, I mean, hard to pick just a few. My dividend series, I feel pretty strongly about. We have our 3M stock there, which is great. Sorry, this one just caught my eye. If I'm newly married to an American man, check out American Murder on Netflix. I might skip that one. Video on Square, yes, actually I've touched on them before I think it was one of my growth videos or just stocks to watch now, and they are a great company. So they are one to do a deeper dive on. My puppy does not drink wine during the day, and hint, I normally don't either. If I am filming early in the day, I will sub in an iced coffee or grape juice sometimes, but I swear he's just the laziest boy, and he will get rambunctious, but he will sleep anytime he can. Jason, Poland Investing. Hey, Jason, thank you so much. What's my favorite wine? I typically drink a Cabernet Sauvignon or a Malbec. I don't mind some blends of Pinot Noir sometimes too. If I'm celebrating, I'll get the bubblies out with some Prosecco. Dog's name is Bear. Yeah. Yes, like I said, I do sneak grape juice into the wine glass sometimes. Sorry, guys. if it's like pre-lunch on a Monday, I can't make myself drink the wine quite that early. And I know a lot of you get concerned with my wine drinking. So the wine for 10K, that was some La Marca Prosecco. I had to bust out the bubbly for that. This is not grape juice though, I promise. What have you learned so far since being on YouTube? Ooh, it has been a heck of a learning curve. Yeah, there's been a lot. I don't know where to start with that one. Just as far as the effort and time and stuff that goes in to making these videos. There's a lot of research. You know, I do take a lot of pride in trying to make sure I'm covering all angles and not just coming at it from like one biased opinion kind of thing. There's a lot of research that goes into it and just gathering and organizing my thoughts as far as what I'm wanting to get across in each video. And then filming and editing was a big learning curve for me. I'd never done too much of that before, so that was a big learning curve. But also I learned a lot about SPACs and the EV market, since it was just a huge niche here on YouTube and you're seeing a lot of stuff, so you start digging into them. So that was a big learning curve there. GM, yeah, actually I'm thinking of doing kind of a big video on not just GM, but some of the other big automakers who are kind of quietly moving into the EV space. We don't see as much exciting headlines on them because they're kind of existing, but GM is definitely making a lot of moves lately between their battery plans. I don't even know if I want to bring up Nikola because I know that's a testy subject, but just the different partnerships that they are working on with a lot of different companies. I think they are going to be trying to come out swinging hard in this EV space here pretty soon. I know like Volkswagen, Toyota, a lot of these companies are moving in that direction. So these new EV companies are going to have those big guys competing with them, which will be really interesting to see. Biggest sources for info. I read Barron's and Market Watch a lot. So those are ones I am actually subscribed to. I think you can read so many for free per month. I've used Benzinga for new news updates. Tip ranks. There's a Simple Wall Street has a good kind of screener as well. Finance, like Yahoo Finance, obviously, is always quick with their articles and everything as well. Thank you, guys. Oh, some people are up late. Thank you for coming in, guys. Get some good sleep. Shout out from Australia. Holy smokes. How long have you been making content? How long take out the channel? Okay, so thank you, Gizmo Investing, for the question. When I started this YouTube channel, I thought, hey, this is going to be something that I can kind of slowly plug away at. It's going to give me something to focus on during the day. And I was like, okay, 1,000 subs, 4,000 watch hours. Maybe in a year's time, I can hit those metrics and get monetized. I was a little off the mark there because I did actually end up getting monetized after 2 months. And since then, I feel like it has just grown amazing as well. Because after that, I think I had around a few thousand subs by the time I hit the watch hours. And it was like, okay, next big milestone being 10,000. Really was hoping I could get there by Christmas. That was my goal. So thank you guys, because we blew that out of the water and got there much sooner. So it has been a big shock at how quickly it's grown. No complaints. I'm trying to think. Yeah, been going fast. One stock. If I had to buy and hold one stock for 10 years, I'm looking at Tesla, baby. I just think it's really neat. And actually, that was one of the questions on the Q&A post too. Someone said Elon versus Gates. And I think Gates deserves all the respect in the world. He's done such amazing things. I think Elon is really exciting for the future and just the moves that he's making there in so many different arenas. And like Tesla's not just a car company, right? There's a lot of different pieces there to it. So I'm hanging on to those guys for a good while. Yes, Nikola, the fake company. I don't want to say anything too damning here. One, when it first came out, I was a little skeptical of, just because there hadn't been really products on the road with actual customers and everything. JT and JT Wealth is initials. And fair on the Elon versus Gates. It's just a question. And like I said, both respect to both of them. I think Elon is just really exciting right now. I just use my iPhone to film my videos, actually. So I just updated my phone and I was able to get it up to 1080p. And then I use Viva Video, which is a pretty simple video editing tool. I am looking to learn more and update my technology skills there as the time progresses, but I'll get to work on that for you guys. Pitbull's name is Bear. I need to put a little sign up above him. Canon M50 camera. Final Cut Pro. Okay, I'll have to look into that. I do not trade options. I am more just a long-term investor there. Vail, I think, will do well, and this isn't one I know a ton about. The only concern being the environmental side of things. I know Elon was definitely looking for people that are going to kind of shake this up, do it in a very environmentally friendly way. I don't know a ton about Vail's processes, but it was said to me that, you know, they could maybe use a little help there. But it'll be interesting to see, you know, how the mining industry for lithium and all nickel and everything there is going to adapt as this demand is suddenly increasing huge. Next goal, I mean, I guess next goal, we look at 20,000 subs now, right? I'm just going to keep going up incrementally here. What financial book would you recommend? Ooh, there's a lot of good ones out there. Financial books. I'm trying to think of one that isn't the obvious, you know, rich dad, poor dad type of that everyone suggests. Let me ponder that. Dividend investing. I don't think dividend investing is too late if you're 30, especially if you're looking long term. If you have a 20-year plus time frame, if you're looking at retirement and something, that is plenty of time to take the advantages of that compound interest in long-term growth. So I don't think 30 is too late at all. Obviously, the earlier you can start, the better. But the whole thing is many of us, when we are fresh 18, aren't getting this financial advice to start investing. And that was kind of what motivated me to get on here too, is to tell people, even if it's a little bit, like just start investing as soon as you can. But I don't think 30 is too late. You still have a good while there. What do I think of Americans? I don't think it's fair to classify all Americans, as I hope people wouldn't just classify Canadians based on one person. So number of subs by the end of 2020. Oh my goodness. Let's see, October, November, December. I'm hoping we can hit that 20,000 mark by then. 25 would be amazing if I want to shoot for the moon here. Like I said, any of my goals I've made have been kind of blown away, which has been amazing. So it's hard to put a number on there. When am I buying a Tesla? Yeah, maybe once I have a few more subs there. Yes, The Millionaire Next Door is a good suggestion there, Jeremy Rhodes. That one is great. I don't have a midget glass of wine. It is a very normal size glass of wine. How long does it take to make a video? Proudly, I have been getting better and better with this, but it really can depend on the topic as well. Ones like today, like my stock market news updates, those ones are definitely a bit faster, as I can kind of quickly go out there, see what is happening. It's almost more like reporting, right? So it's not as much in-depth research. Whereas some of the more, you know, the dividend series, when I'm talking about that compound growth, I spent hours doing different calculators, looking into all the different returns and numbers and dividend yields for the last 10, 15, 20 years on each company within that. That one took a lot longer. Any other stocks that I'm just doing a bit deeper dive in, that can be a few hours of research. So I'd say on average, probably spending maybe 4 hours to get a normal video out, 4 to 6 if it's a bit longer. Have definitely been able to bring that down as the time goes. When I think airlines will get in track. So that was kind of one I was dabbling in a bit today in the video, as we saw that little jump from the news of a potential other airline package. I think we're still a ways off from them really getting back on track. So that package will, yes, be like a Band-Aid for now, but the future of travel is still very uncertain. I mean, we still have borders closed, a lot of regulations, and even once it is kind of opened back up, I think it'll be a while for people to start traveling like they normally did. I also think business travel is a huge portion of airline business, and business are quickly realizing that this Zoom meeting, work from home, remote style actually works pretty well. So I think we're going to see a decrease in that as well, but probably get a couple years out till we really see them get back on their feet. No, I do not do any day trading or swing trading. I kind of looked into it, was going to dabble with it. That was when I was up in Canada. And Canada at the time, I can't say exactly right now, didn't have many free commission trading platforms. So the amounts of money I was willing to risk on day trading versus the fees and commissions versus the return I made, the math just didn't quite work out to make it worthwhile. So I just never really fully got into it and took that leap. Did I have stage fright or camera fright in the beginning? Yes. I don't know about you guys, anytime I record my own voicemail, I hate the sound of my voice, when you listen back to it. And the same thing kind of happened when I started doing these videos. You suddenly realize a lot of weird quirks, saying, I say as well a lot, just weird things you catch yourself doing when you have to watch yourself back on camera. It has gotten more comfortable over time, but that has been a big learning curve and adjustment for sure. My portfolio, I share my portfolio on my Patreon there. I've had my Robinhood on there, plan on sharing my Canadian kind of bigger portfolio on there soon. I will definitely consider sharing it on YouTube. I'm still adjusting to the whole part of sharing everything about my life online, which I know kind of what I signed up for when I started the channel, but just kind of coming to terms with that, I'll certainly consider it. Oh, we're done there. Okay, bunch of questions here. All right, what are we looking at? I think biggest investing mistake, like I said, I had that one stock I did horrible on. I think the big thing too is just sticking to a plan. And when I was in my young 20s, I started off investing, but then I definitely got off track sometimes. If there are certain life things that wanted to happen, if there was a trip I wanted to go on or something fun, I definitely stopped contributing to some investments for a while. I think the big thing is just staying consistent with your plan. I think those automatic contributions are the best thing ever. Just have, even $50 coming off of each paycheck. You'll hardly notice it and just have that going all the time. Start a public account. Yeah, that's a good idea, actually, just to show a portion and different holdings and everything. How long until I go full time? So I have people ask me this. I guess I technically am full time because I do not have another job right now. And it is taking up more and more time as I'm trying to reply to as many comments, be active in my Patreon and my Discord chat group and everything. So I guess, yeah, I am technically full-time already. So I took the leap, guys. Oh, and the certificates. Yeah, I'll answer again just because I started that at the very beginning of the video. So that would be my business administration degree there. I have my mutual fund license from Canada, so I guess it's not really valid, as well as my certificate in personal financial services advice and a couple financial planning certificates up there as well. No, my husband is not rich. He has a comfortable job. I wouldn't say we are fancy well off. We live here in the Midwest, so we're lucky our cost of living is fairly cheap. He works for the government, has a nice stable job there. And yeah, now we have this as kind of our supplemental income. What was my main technique in getting new subs so fast? Yeah, so that was a learning curve as well, as far as YouTube recommends like that search engine optimization. So just have to really consider when you're titling your videos what people are going to be kind of looking for and what's going to catch eyes and everything. But then posting often. So when I started, I was doing every other day pretty much. Now I'm basically doing Monday to Friday, trying to give myself the weekends off. So I think it's just that consistency paid off. I was a financial advisor at a bank in Canada for 4 years, and then I worked in private banking, wealth management for another 4, doing more credit structuring for wealthy clients there. Yeah, Jordan, I do agree there. I think there's a lot of great young YouTubers who are jumping headfirst into this investing, and I think it's amazing because they're bringing attention to it for the younger generations. But like I said before too, like you need to make sure you're looking at it as a holistic advice kind of piece, and that's I will never recommend what somebody does with their stock, because even if you wrote me an essay, I do not know your financial circumstances. I do not know your family, your planning, what is going on there. So there's a lot that goes into giving financial advice when you're talking about very particular things. So it does help coming from that financial background just to have that holistic picture in mind, I think. But I do think it's great that these young guys are really loving the stock market and drawing that attention and everything to it as well. Can I put ads on a live stream? I have no idea. This is my first one. So if you guys aren't seeing ads, then I don't think so. I've used some social media, but it's been a lot slower growth than anything else. I don't know if I'm active enough on it. I'm trying to be more active on my Patreon as far as everything goes there, but okay, these are moving fast. Definitely recommend balancing your portfolio. So one of the questions on the Q&A post I had is diversification for suckers. And definitely, no, not at all. I think diversification is super key, especially when you see downturns in the market like this. Having that exposure to different markets is just going to help keep a bit more even level in your account. Personally, for me, I think like 80% of your account should be blue chip, dividend paying companies, just really solid base of companies in there, and then play around with say 15, 20% and more of those spec and growth stocks. This does depend on your age though, right? So when we're talking about diversification, that asset allocation is going to shift over your life. When you're young and you're 20 and you can risk it all on black, that is fine. If you have that risk tolerance, you can go for it. But definitely as you get older and as you get to a point that you're going to actually need those funds for other things, you need to get a bit more conservative. So that's always going to change. Every investor is going to be different. You could be 20 years old and have all the time in the world, but just not comfortable taking risks, right? So that is going to change dramatically as you get older and just your own tolerance there. I saw that SPAC, I think it's SPAC ETF. Maybe I was thinking the SPAC of SPACs. That's another one that's going to be coming out soon. I'll definitely be looking into that. Main trading platform down here, it's definitely Robinhood. Probably use my phone more for that than anything. Should learn more about options. I know. And, maybe I'll dabble a bit more into that. Spending a little more time now, especially in this financial realm, I should probably learn more about the options and probably get into a bit more day trading and stuff too. So I'll have to probably set a small portion aside in my account to kind of play around with that. Patreon. So Patreon, there's a link in my description. It's basically kind of a membership platform, I guess. It's a small monthly fee. It gives you access to our Discord chat group. So there's a group of us in there that just kind of share thoughts on what stocks we're watching, what's happening in the market. I try to post different things that I'm looking at as well. Lots of people want to know Bear's name. Like I said, I might have to make a little plaque above him. He gets as much attention as I do on here. Jumping over to the VP dates. Yes, so I tried to schedule this before those started here. So don't worry, guys. I won't make this go crazy longer. I'll make sure we're off here before those start. Bear does not drink wine. No favorite wine for Bear. Ooh, what direction do I see the market going until the election results? I think this election is just on a whole other level, guys. We all know that Octobers before elections are more volatile, right? I said it in my video today. The market does not like uncertainty. And 2020, I think, has been a lot of uncertainty in general. Obviously, these are unprecedented times. They're high stress, a lot of weird things going on this year. And it is a very, I don't want to say controversial election, but there's a lot going on there. It's heated. It's going to be interesting. So I think we're going to continue to say that it's going to be volatile these next few months. This is the time where if you have a long view on one of your stocks, honestly, stop checking it for a couple of weeks, right? If you know you're going to hold it for another 2-3 years, don't drive yourself insane by just watching it fluctuate every day. Same advice I used to give my clients, if you're looking at a mutual fund, like you don't have to watch it every day. You're going to drive yourself insane. So I think for October, it's tough not checking them every day, guys, but it's going to be interesting. I do not have a single sister, sorry. My last days on YouTube. Oh, yeah, why are we talking about my last day? I'm going to be here a long time, guys. Any non-stock investments? I am a landlord. So I kind of got into that almost accidentally. I had bought a home for myself and then ended up transferring with work sooner than expected. So it didn't make sense to sell with all the fees and everything. So I ended up having a rental. I still have a rental property for coming on 8 years now. It has worked out very well for me. I think real estate is a fantastic investment. There is a lot that is involved with it, especially like I manage it myself. So there's a lot of considerations there, but I think real estate is a great investment if you're going about it right. Rates are super low right now too. So it is a great time to get into a mortgage because you're hardly paying anything on that. Stockbroker did I use in Canada? I traded mostly through RBC Direct Investing. Again, that's who I worked for up there, and I'm not a super active trader, so that was an easy platform for me to use just based on my comfort levels there. Oil and gas stocks, that's not one I have done a whole bunch of due diligence in, but I have read a couple articles about some of those bigger companies starting to kind of pivot as we are looking towards a more electric future and everything and renewable energy sources. So I think depending on the oil and gas stock, there's a lot of potential there, and it'll be interesting to see how that industry kind of shifts over the next few years. Again, though, I haven't dug too deep into that yet, so I don't want to say too much more there. The real estate side, yeah. I was planning on doing one. So I have all these ideas, guys, for videos that are more basic financial advice. But then every week there's just so much exciting stock news. And those videos take a lot longer to kind of plan and execute and everything. So they do kind of keep getting pushed to the side almost. So I wanted to talk about, purchasing real estate, especially when we talk about kind of opportunity costs, right? And if you have a lump sum of money, would you buy a house or would you invest it? And just kind of what to do there with rates being so low. So that is one I swear is kind of on the docket for me to get to. So I promise I will get that out here soon. JT Wealth is not a registered business, just the name of the channel right now. Depending how this grows, that might change. I do have like Instagram and Twitter and everything and my Patreon, but I do not have an actual website yet. Haven't really found the need. 1:44 a.m. Dave Coley, where are you? That it's So late. I can definitely do this earlier next time as well. I was trying to get in ahead of the debate that's happening here. I know a lot of people are in different time zones. So down the road, we'll have to kind of shake it up as far as what time of the day that we do. JT is initials. Tesla, I'm competing all. I think all other EV companies, as far as some of the newer EV companies, Tesla obviously has a big hold in that market so far and are, pretty ahead some of those new competitors. I do think it'll be interesting to see when these larger automobile makers start kind of entering the EV space and what force they come with, because they obviously already have the manufacturing and distribution and the sales setup already in place. So once they really get into the market, Tesla will definitely see some competition, but I think Tesla continues to bring out new technologies and everything. So I think they'll do fine, but I think there'll be some new competition entering the market in the next couple of years for sure. Hyliion stock, yeah, I kind of touched on that earlier, guys. Long term, I think it's great. I think Thomas Healy has a good head on his shoulders. He seems very down to earth and focused on the business. And that is why we're seeing this decrease right now, because we don't have a lot of hype and exciting news coming out. Some of those shorter traders were probably taken off after the merger, just riding that hype up. So long term, I'm still hanging on to that for the next 2-3 years. I think it'll be a solid play, but obviously it's been a rough week. Star Wars or Star Trek? Ooh, probably Star Wars. I do watch Star Trek though too, but I've definitely seen more of the Star Wars, and I've not watched all of these Star Trek episodes since there's thousands. Yeah, no, I miss Canada a lot. It is beautiful up there. Great people. I loved the city I was in. I loved being by the mountains. I miss winter. I mean, we get winter here, but the snow is nothing, obviously, like Canada. So I didn't even get to ski this last year. If you haven't been up north, I highly recommend it. Eventually, yes, would definitely like to get back up there, at least spending half the year if we can. And looking forward to traveling back soon and visiting once we're allowed. Okay, investing in your 50s. So depending what your goals are, if you're looking at retirement, unfortunately, you've lost some of the years where you can really take advantage of that compound interest and long-term growth and everything. So just the amount you're going to need to put in if you're trying to hit a certain goal is definitely going to be a bit higher. Again, I think investing in just really solid, some of those blue chip companies, some value companies and everything. If you have the diversification, you don't want to take on an insane amount of risk if you're only looking at, say, 5 years or so, but just, I'm trying to think the words I want to say here. Just stick with those really strong companies and have a small portion looking into more of the speculative and growth. But as you're getting older and you might need some of those funds soon, don't take on unnecessary risk just trying to chase crazy gains. So don't let that kind of blind you there. Yes, would love to hear where you guys are watching from. We have Michigan. I was in Calgary, Alberta, up in Canada. I'm now down in the Midwest here. Favorite that's off the radar. I feel like I was near Banff and Canmore, which are beautiful mountain towns. I don't know if they're considered off the radar though. If you get into British Columbia, the Shuswaps, which is a lake area out there, is absolutely gorgeous. I did lock my doors and did not drink syrup, just red wine. Other SPACs, yeah, definitely DPHC. We have Lordstown. Put everything in Tesla. When you're saying everything, I hope that you do have some diversification, because that's basically going to the casino and putting it all on one color, you got to kind of expand some of that there. Tonight I am drinking a Cab Sav. How do I approach DD? Yeah, so I kind of touched on some of this before, like what I look at when picking a stock, and it's really just getting to know that company from the inside out, how they make money, what their competitive advantage is, the management team there, and looking historically kind of how they've produced and what they've done on their stock and everything. EV SPACs, I think we're definitely getting close to the point of saturation here soon. It has been the year of the SPACs, like we said before, and there's still a good number of them out there that are looking for companies to acquire. And the EV space seems to be that sweet spot where a lot of them are going. So I think we've seen a lot of great companies come out this year so far. It'll be interesting to see if this continues forward, because at a certain point, people are going to be like, oh, another EV company going through a SPAC, like what's going to be different? So depending on the company, yeah, there's definitely a lot out there now. Yeah, all or nothing can make you rich or super poor. And that's, we say, like, high risk, high reward. And everyone kind of forgets about the high risk part. If you don't get that high rewards, you could lose a lot. Hyliion to 50, 20, 21. Yeah, I think we'll definitely get back there. I think it'll be a pretty steady climb unless we see some really huge catalysts come up. But I think we'll definitely get back to those levels here in the next year. Don't miss using metric. Yeah, actually, Fahrenheit has been the hardest switch for me. I have no idea what temperature it is ever, but I'm starting to get used to it. News from Belgium. Okay, hello, Belgium. What time is it in Belgium? Actually, that must be pretty late. I'm going to wrap it up here in the next like 5-10 minutes, guys, because I know the debate is coming on, so I'm not trying to compete with that. I don't think there's any other questions from the post that I wanted to touch on as well. Touched on the banks, touched on some dividend stocks. This week, I'll give you guys a little sneak peek too. I'm going to do another dividend investing series. Going to be adding Coca-Cola in that for sure. Hello from Canada. Hello, Canada. What questions I have for you guys? Yeah, I mean, would love to hear different topics that you guys want to hear us talk about and everything, especially when it comes to more of the kind of general financial advice and those topics there. I know there's a lot of hot stocks out there, and I appreciate all the comments you guys leave saying kind of what you want to hear, what stock specifically. But just beyond that, kind of if there's any other aspects you're wanting us to touch on, any certain metrics, I try to keep it pretty high level, factual, without getting too bogged down in a lot of technicals. Kind of my style. Talking about real estate, yeah, like I said, would love to do a real estate video soon as far as those investment opportunities and how we're picking them. I love Kathy Wood from ARK. Touched on her a bit earlier, so I won't chat too much here, but I think she has a phenomenal way of looking at those companies and finding who is really disrupting their arena there. How much for my pineapple? Oh, I don't know if my pineapple's for sale. I'm pretty attached to it. Yes, I am Canadian. I do live down in the States now. Okay, a lot of good questions, guys. Sorry, the chat moves pretty fast here, so I'm trying to keep up with them all. Coke, not Pepsi. Just talking stock-wise. REITs, yeah, that's one I'll kind of tie in both with the real estate and investing in REITs. I think some REITs are great, but there's a lot of due diligence to be there said as well. Donuts. Okay, awesome ideas, guys. All right, well, I am going to probably wrap this up just because we are getting close to 8 o'clock here. So I just want to thank you guys so much for all being on here and keeping the chat just buzzing and having so many awesome questions. This was actually pretty fun. I was a little nervous, to be honest, but I will probably definitely consider doing one of these again in the future. So yeah, Yeah, I shouldn't have pointed out. I do say as well a lot. It's one I'm trying to work on. Thank you guys so much for being here. I hope you all have an awesome night. I look forward to chatting with you guys again. And as always, guys, thank you so much for supporting the channel. Like I said, it has grown so much faster than I expected, and it's been amazing just like getting to interact with all of you guys. And so thank you for making it such a fun journey. Cheers, guys. Have an awesome night.